guys, Naruto Part 3, the Boruto spin-off Boruto Gaiden, has finally released its first chapter, and I am so excited about it. It's been a while since we've read anything Naruto, and I'm glad we have some new content. This first chapter is entitled Uchiha Sarada, so we know that the chapter is going to be centered around her. And her chapter is very interesting. There's a lot of things that we learn about her, there's some questions that come up, there's a lot to talk about. So the chapter starts off with them at the academy, and she, announces that they're going to be doing the graduation ceremony soon. And there's some mixed reactions with all of the academy students. Some find it really exciting, like Boruto. Others find it kind of meh, like Shikadai. And then there's Sarada. She questions why there is a big deal about becoming a ninja. She complains that all she hears is ninja, 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 but she doesn't really get what's the big deal. I kind of understand her frustration. At this point, there really should be a rather peaceful society. All of the ninja nations should be, allies, at least tolerate each other. There shouldn't be any conflict, so there's really nothing for ninja to do, unless, of course, there are some kind of thieves running around the other little villages around them, or maybe one of their own went rogue and started trouble. But other than that, there's really nothing for a ninja to do. So I'm curious as to, how society is and what they're actually doing nowadays. So that's one aspect of her character that's kind of interesting, is she's already questioning how they're doing in society, and that's really interesting that at that age, she's already looking ahead. After we leave the academy, we get to see how some of the other new generations have interactions with their parents. And we see a lot of this through Sarada's eyes. She doesn't say it, but she's pretty envious of all of her classmates because they get to have those interactions with their parents, and she really doesn't. From as far back as she can remember, she's never met her father. And we could kind of interpret this is going to be an issue going forward, because we know that Uchiha tend to have problems with their emotions. So this could be a source of conflict. So we get to see how a lot of them interact with their parents. One of the best is how Naruto and Boruto interact with one another. They're shown training with each other, and we think, great, Naruto is actually putting in some effort and is actually spending time with his son after he didn't get to experience that. But we later find out that he was using a clone to do that. While Boruto really thinks negatively of his father for that, I have to applaud Naruto for giving some effort. Even using a clone, for goodness sakes. I mean, when he was a kid, he didn't even have that. He had nothing. So, at least he's putting in some effort. Naruto doesn't know how to interact with his son because he never had that himself. So, he doesn't see anything wrong with it. Or at least I'm guessing he doesn't see anything wrong with that. I mean, he's a busy man. He is running a village. He doesn't have time to put everything aside and be there in person. At least he sent a clone. That's better than nothing. So, you kind of want to smack Boruto for that. But the great thing about this chapter is seeing Sarada question Sakura about her relationship with her father. And she asks her, did her father wear glasses? Because it's been a question ever since the series ended. Is Sakura really Sarada's mother? There's been a big question about that because neither Sakura or Sasuke wore glasses. And the only other character that we know of that was even in that triangle was Karin. And Karin was the only person who wore glasses. So it's been a question, was Karin really Sarada's mother? I have a couple of explanations for this. So at one point, Sakura got really pissed off at Sarada after, she basically said that you guys have a crazy ass relationship and none of this makes any sense. Sakura gets pissed and basically destroys the house. After Sarada takes Sakura to Shizune, Sarada finds the picture of Sasuke and Sakura and discovers that there was another picture behind her mother's. And the picture is actually of Shigetsu, Sasuke, and Karin. And immediately she begins to think, hey, this woman looks a lot like me. Maybe she's my mother. But I have a little bit of an explanation for that. Sasuke probably hadn't been in the village for very long. He probably stayed a little bit to get treatment. He might have been there a little bit to be with Sakura, and then afterwards he might have really been lost internally and he didn't really know himself, so he went on a journey and he just got lost in that journey of self-discovery and didn't return home. So in that time there probably wasn't much of a opportunity to take a family picture. So the only picture that Sakura had of him even being an adult was the picture that he had with Teen Taka. So she had to use that picture and take a picture of herself to use that for a family picture. That's one explanation. Another explanation is, like everyone's been saying, maybe Karin is Sarada's mother. Now, that could be possible. You know, Sasuke and Karin did have a little thing together, but I don't know if it went that far as they would actually produce a kid, but it's possible. Karin could have been killed in some kind of mission and Sakura felt sorry for her and took Sarada and raised her as her own. I mean, we've seen that happen before, so that's a possibility. Or another one is the reason why Sarada has glasses and neither Sasuke and Sakura do is that her eyesight is just plain worse than either of theirs. That is just my explanation as to what's going on with the picture. But I think the more likely scenario is that she just didn't have a picture of Sasuke as he is now. Maybe he was afraid that the picture would take his soul or something. I don't know what actually happened. But that's my explanation, is that they just didn't have a current picture and that was the only one that she had that she couldn't use. That makes sense to me. If we're gonna say, based on what Kishimoto has been saying in interviews, that Sarada is Sasuke and Sakura's daughter, that is the best explanation I can come up with, is they just didn't have a current picture to use. So, we'll find out, but that's a big cliffhanger and it brings up a lot of questions. It's great that we get to have more adventures with this new generation. I really love that we're expanding on their characters and learning how they interact with their parents. Because it kind of stunk at the end of Naruto Shippuden that we got introduced to all of them and that was pretty much where they were going to leave it. So I'm glad Kishimoto decided to expand on it and just tell us more about their personalities and just their adventures. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Karin is Sarada's mother, or do you agree that there could be some issue with where Sasuke's been and not having a new photograph and that Sakura is indeed her mother? Which I think is the case. That really makes the most sense to me, but you never know with Naruto. Kishimoto likes to throw wrenches into things and complicate matters, so it could be a possibility. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you guys really excited about this Boruto spin-off? I know I am, and I can't wait to find out what happens next. So, that's it for today's review. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!